Hey guys, just me again. This one is going to be an episode. I'd like to first and foremost some stuff I left off of my trade video. If you guys didn't see my trade video, please check it out. It's the video I made directly before this. But here are three things that I left off that I meant to include. It is the Spirited Killer trilogy. These are a bunch of early Tony Jaa films. They're real crap Thai action flicks. So if you like your crap cinema, bad martial arts, well, I guess I can't say too bad. These guys really do beat the crap out of each other. But anyway, it's got all three of the Spirited Killer films on here. Somehow I ended up with two copies of that. Don't know how. Next, we got Phantasm. Alright, I'm going to say this, and I'm probably going to get a lot of crap. I did not like the Phantasm. I've only seen this one. I did not like it at all. I fought to stay awake so hard, I just didn't get it. I like the idea of the midgets and the time thing and the mine, and even the flying sphere is really cool, but I just felt like it wasn't going anywhere. Anyway, I'm not gonna talk about it too much because I know probably 90% of the people on here love Phantasm. And honestly, if I ever came by that sphere, the DVD collectible thing, I'd probably buy it just to watch all of them in order sometime, just to better assess my judgment of it, because I can't believe that this many people like it, and it didn't do it for me. Alright, lastly, got Children of the Corn. This is the original Anchor Bay release. I have a different edition of it now. I just noticed that I had two of these. So this one can be traded off also. So those are three more things to trade. Now, before I do the episode, I have a question for all my extreme horror fans and splatter lovers. I'm trying to get into German splatter flicks. Now, I know it's like its own little genre all into its own. But from what I've come by, and maybe I'm just not looking in the right place, a lot of it just seems so like low budget and bad. I've seen quite a few flicks that Unearthed released, and I should have grabbed one before I started the video, but I just not thought of it. And they were really, really low budget and pretty bad. And then I've seen a few films that I want to say Andreas Bethman is his name. I'm not really positive, but he is the director of, for instance, Angel of Death. This is the first one that I saw that he did. Again, it seems extremely low budget, and honestly, there's not a whole lot of gore in it. There's a lot of blood, and there's a lot of like vile acts that are happening. I've seen some of his other flicks, like I can't say the name of very many of them. It's slipping my name. Exodus, I think, was another one. I saw Exodus 1 and 2, Exodus Interruptus, or something like that. And I'm sorry I'm destroying these names, but you probably know what I'm talking about. So I gave his stuff a shot. I just couldn't, I couldn't get into it either. And now, Olaf Ittenbach, I believe is his name. Again, I'm probably destroying names here. I've checked out The Burning Moon now. The main reason I got this is because it's quite hard to come by. I don't even know if there's a real release for the film. Mine is a bootleg. I actually liked that one. Out of all the German splatter flicks, I think that one was the coolest. So I would really, really like some recommendations for great German splatter flicks. Like I said, I checked out. I have a feeling I'm going to like more of Eaton-Bach's stuff. I know there's one called Black Past. That's been recommended to me before, but it's hard to find his stuff. So if anybody has a great website to find his films, not bootlegs though, I want to try and buy the real releases. I know that a lot of people here in the States bootleg his films just because they're not released here, but I want to try and get real releases of his films. But anyway, that's enough about that. If you guys have recommendations or anything like that for splatter flicks, please let me know. Now, lastly, my quick little episode. I watched this film yesterday. This is my good. It is called Black Hole. This film was put out by Anchor Bay. I think it's out of print with them now, and I could be confused with something else, but I think Disney released this now. I don't know who made it or what exactly happened, but I believe Disney has a release for this. Anyway, it is a really cool. I've had this for a few years now and just kept putting it off. But it is a sci-fi adventure kind of flick. Basically, there's this spaceship traveling through space, and they come across a ship that's motionless, and they know what ship it is. They run through the scanner. They find out what ship it is, and it's a ship that had left 20 years ago. and nobody ever knew what happened to it. It kind of just disappeared. Well, it's sitting right on the border of this black hole. They board the ship. The ship is run completely by robots and one person. There's only one guy left on this massive ship that must have had hundreds of people. And slowly the mystery unravels. I'm not going to ruin too much of it or go into too much more detail, but it was a great watch. I was surprised that I had never had given it a shot or ever heard of it. But I highly recommend it for people that like. And I don't know the year. I'm trying to find a year on this for you. I would guess somewhere in the 80s, probably early 80s is where this was released. I liked it so much that I looked up the director to try and find out if he had done any other cool flicks. The director has done 93 films, according to IMDb, and I hadn't heard of any of them, not a single one. So I might be looking into it more, but you know, it doesn't look like it's quite my kind of genre, not my kind of stuff, I don't think. But this one was definitely really awesome. I'm sure you can find it for cheap, and it's just a good watch. Alright, nextly, my bad. This is another item that I put in my trade video. I never got around to talking about it, but I will post it here so that if anyone is interested, you've been warned. It is Blood Feast 2. Now, I love the first Blood Feast. This is put out by Shriek Show, and it is the R-rated cut, which means it's a really shit-edited version, and that's what pisses me off. That's why I'm using this as a bad. It's this particular release by Shriek Show. I had 2 copies of this. I'm still keeping one, and I'm going to try and find the uncut version. I know Shriek Show also released the uncut version, but it costs like $30. It costs twice as much for some reason. I don't know why. But I'll probably pick it up. I even like Blood Diner. That's the same story, pretty much. All 3 great fun flicks. But this one, to try and avoid or be aware that Shriek Show has released 2 different cuts of the film. There's an R-rated cut and an unrated cut. This R-rated cut here is garbage. They cut out like everything. So be aware of that. That is my bad choice. Now, my unusual or my rare item is a film that's not really released. This is a DVD-R of it. It is called Meta Metta Gakido Koza. And I destroy anything not in English, as you are all aware. This is the cover I made for it. And then this is the back I put together. Here's some stills for you. This is him sucking a woman's breast completely dry. This is this weird mosquito creature that kind of mocks the kid throughout the film. I don't know what's going on in that picture. His nose is bleeding. This is when he grows his walrus teeth and starts biting people. And this is when the dad gets a knife jammed in his head. Alright, this film has no English subtitles. And I typically do really bad with films that don't have English subtitles. But I was entertained completely, and I could not look away while watching this. This is one of the most batshit crazy films I've ever seen in my life. I was 100% entertained the entire time. It's basically about a kid who's just a delinquent, kind of like a Japanese Dennis the Menace, only this kid is much more worse, and he gets into a lot more mischief than Dennis the Menace ever could have imagined getting into. It's completely crazy. Let's see, I'll just think of a few highlights. He has an obsession with milk, or woman's breast milk, so he sucks many teats dry. There's a door-to-door salesman who's selling Dutch blow-up dolls, and that's one of the most hilarious scenes I've ever seen in my life, is this Japanese woman freaking out over a Dutch blow-up doll of a man. And the way that it's edited, it's just really, really cheap and poorly done, but it's just so perfect and hilarious. Anyway, there's a giant mosquito rooster creature who's actually a man in a costume, and the kid kills him and cooks him. It's also a really great, hilarious scene. A lot of brutal violence against the kid. I mean, they beat the shit out of this kid, but it cuts, and he's just a dummy. And I mean, they are just going to town, throwing him into cars, throwing him into poles, just beating him up, breaking his legs, and then it cuts again, and it's the real kid again, and it's done really, really well. And I absolutely loved it. I'm very thankful that I received this in a trade. I know that it's very hard to come by. even as a bootleg, it's really hard to come by. So that is my unusual choice. It is spectacular. I'm going to try and find a trailer and link it to this video so you guys can all check it out. It comes very highly recommended from me. Anyway, that does it for me, guys. That's my good, my bad, and my unusual. Again, a question about splatter flicks and a few more things that I'm trying to trade off. If you haven't seen my trade video, I just uploaded it before this one, so please check it out, guys. Take it easy and have a good one.